Hello, this is Bear Talk. I'm Bear again. A few months ago, I was in the job searching mood. At that time, I followed the traditional job searching method, sent out hundreds of applications, but got nothing reply. The reason for that is that I don't have a proper portfolio, and I just had a good resume for that. And then I realized I need to show them what I'm capable of. So I start a personal project, Lonely Planet. So it is an app, and I was sharing all the thing from start from scratch to the end, how an app was built, at least from a UX perspective. And this portfolio got me a lot of things. So first, it got me this job I'm working on as a UX designer, and also it got me hundreds or at least dozens of local professional connections. So I reached out with them, or some people reached out with me, and then we share professional experience and learn from each other regularly. And the third is that I got a lot of feedbacks from internet, from other online platform. So this is something I really appreciated, that what I did at that time to create a self project. So this experience really showed me that sometimes you just learn in front of others, and then that's the best way to show your path, or to start the right journey on your path. And also, it reveals some facts about the modern age, that if your work doesn't exist online, if your work doesn't visible online, which means your work doesn't exist. It sounds a little bit extreme, but that's the truth. And also, like, if you're looking for a job, no one really cares about your CV. Why? Because CV is just a knocking brick. So it can win you an interview opportunity if you prepare it right. But they care about what you can do, what you actually can do in your job. And you have to show what you made, right? So that's the that's the that's the goal. And also, like, what I've learned from that experience is you can just become an documentarian of yourself, of what you are doing, right? So don't be afraid of you are just a beginner, or if you still in the journey, if your work is still in progress. That doesn't matter, because that happens to everyone. So a common mistake for sharing things is also like, I need to prepare it right until it's ready to be shared. But actually, it doesn't. You just prepare it, or you just learn it and then share what you've learned from it, and also do it and then share what you did online. Okay, so this is what I've learned, and what about the book I'm going to introduce today? Because this book is definitely about this topic. So the name of the book is Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Um, it's the second book I read from Austin, and still quite, yeah, the good quality as well as always, and also quite easy to read, simple and small sentences, um, with a lot of interesting graphics. So I really recommend that all content creator, blogger, designer, artists, and you can take a look at this book. You will not disappointed. Yeah. So I've learned a lot of tips from this book. So the basic structure of this book is that Austin he uses uh, a blog theme post style to share 10 tips uh, of what he learned from sharing the work. A lot of tips are really helpful. So I just share a few of them. This is some like the top 3 tips what I've learned from this book. Okay, the first one is to find the charger and get away from the vampire. How to understand that? So we know sometimes I don't know if you have this kind of experience, but I did. Like when I talk to someone like other professionals or some good friends, after a conversation, I will feel inspired. I will definitely feel motivated and really get ready to do something, really eager to try something, and feel energized. So this kind of like they are the recharger of your life. And sometimes when you do some job, also even your energy level will decreased because it's running out, right? So your energy level will be running out, but still you find you're quite fulfilled and really got some achievements after doing some job. So it's kind of like a recharger. This kind of job or people is a recharger for your life. And sometimes you just met someone, some people or something that get you exhausted. After a conversation with him, you'll feel okay. I'm just so tired and so exhausted and so the feeling is so negative. So that's kind of like a vampire. So get away from vampire and try to find your charger, your recharger, and just get charged. Right. That right. And the second tip is about momentum. So when we know about Hollywood directors, they have multiple projects, and some projects will last for years. How they keep the work in progress? For example, if you have to take a 4-month waiting list until your project was approved, what do you do during this 4 months? So the Hollywood directors, they have multiple projects running in same time but in different progress. Some of the projects was on shooting, but still even the projects on shooting, they have some waiting projects are still also in the progress, which means when a project was closed, they can start another one immediately, so they can keep the momentum. So this is quite essential because I have a very similar experience before. Like when I keep producing podcasts or keep writing blogs for a period of time, it will be so easy to continue doing that. But if I stopped for a few weeks or even for a few days, or sometimes longer for a few months, that's really hard to catch it, to just catch up and to continue doing that. So try to keep your momentum, all right? So at least realize you have the momentum, and if you already do something rapidly, don't stop it, right? Realize it takes a higher price to stop. And another thing is that some practical tips, like show your work in the modern age is about to show it online, and with everyone have internet connection can see. So start to think about to build your site, at least build a blog for you. No matter you are a vlogger or photographer, writer, designer, you have to shoot. You need to have your own base, your own home to share what you've done at your for your work, and think it's for a long-term perspective. Like in the short term, it's really easy to share it with Twitter or Instagram, yeah, LinkedIn. That's quite easy. But if you can think about how I can share it for 10 years, and after 10 years, does this platform still exist? Still, try to ask yourself some kind of questions like this, and start thinking about building your own website. And if you are going to share something online, there are definitely some metrics like page views, right, comments, interactions, things like that. So how could you? What's the right perspective? What's the right attitude to see these metrics? So I personally at first think page views is quite important, of course, right? This is definitely a metric, can help you know what is popular, and what's the topics are popular, and how could you keep your attention on that. But later, now I think something different, like what's the popular thing doesn't mean what's the valuable thing. um, it, you should care about other people's heart, but not other people's eyeballs. So just try to write things really touch you, really motivate you. Just create things like that and share it online. And if there are a few feedbacks and really positive, so I think that's enough. So care about heart, not about eyeballs. So at the last tip, a practical tip I learned from this book is about just show your work. You don't need to show. Don't share your lunch, your coffee, your daily life. Of course, you can share it with your personal social media, right? But just to know who you are as what you are doing, right? So just show what you're learning, what you are doing for your work, and what's your work, and what is your concern, and what is your motivation, what is your inspiration. I think if you can share those kind of things, that really matters. All right, so this is what I've learned from Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. And thanks, Austin, for writing this great book. And thank you for listening. I will see you in another episode. Bye.